Hey moguls, it's Dr. T here, and I'm just checking in with some upgrades today, some mogul ups, so you can mogul on up and really become the absolute master of your empire and dynasty and a great creator and builder. And so one of the ways we do that is to just really delve into these higher level realities and really connecting to the benefits of ascending toward a higher reality and really focusing on a higher reality than a lot of the ways in which we're taught and programmed to focus on things. So one of the focuses today really is the concept of understanding that going toward a family dynasty and multi-generational success and all that happens when you really connect to and focus on not just having a family, because we all know what that can entail, and family itself can be the source of the most challenging, difficult things that people ever experience. So for example, if we say, I just want a family, I have a family company, we get that because that's descriptive and that's how other people talk about things. However, when you're really here to create something like an empire, a dynasty, you're here as a great leader, entrepreneur, influencer, to create something major, you want to have all your language, you want to have all your orientation going toward things that are much higher. Because if you do and you begin to use that language, you start to experience that reality the same way we do with anything, right? We say, I'm going to go get a turkey sandwich. It moves us in that direction. Now we're one step closer to that. If you move in the direction again, say I've got a company, I've got a family, I'm an owner, all fine and well, because you'll have what that experience entails, and that might be the pinnacle of success for you. However, if you are wanting, for example, your family to be a group of people who are all aligned for a great trajectory, a great destiny, a great reality that is created multi-generationally, generation after generation. It's just better and better and flowing. And we drop all the same old patterns that come from the same old language that is not high enough, or it's high to a certain extent, but really when we connect to something much higher, it's absolutely a game changer. So when you think about it, people are building companies and we're building empires and things like that. But ultimately, what you are is a reality maker, and you're building a reality. And if we just think of this thing's over here, this is my family, this is my partner, this is my company, these pieces are not necessarily integrated. And therefore, you've got separate silos of reality. But when you integrate them into a common reality structure, right? We're going to be top business moguls, build great empires, and have great multi-generational family dynasty reality, right? Great multi-generational family success and wealth and reality. And a legacy that happens for each person, right? As they ascend and do things at a much higher level than you might normally do or other people might normally do, because it's not any more work. It's just actually orienting to the thing that that would be higher and more beneficial for you. And given that something like a family can be, again, somebody's greatest source of inspiration and support, but it also can be where all of the same old family personal problems that go on in the background, or depending on if you have a family company, they can go on right in the middle of it. Then you can end up having some of the detriment to what that concept is, because it's just like family. The word family is just explaining we're relations, right? We're in a genus together. And when you're a dynasty and you start to build something like that, like all the amazing family dynasties ever have, now you become a great reality maker, because ultimately, when you really look at it, you're creating a reality. And back in the day, there used to be, a world of, much more of a world of kings and queens and noblemen and noblewomen and all of this royalty, all of this class and echelon of people that just made their own world, and then everybody else was outside of that, struggling and having difficulty. But it's ultimately because the concept was that we're a dynasty, that we're going toward the highest reality, and therefore you live it. So in this day and age, where we only have a small amount of the kings and queens and the royal type dynasties that we can look to, different than all of our predecessors did. They got to see a world of kings and queens and families that were elevated, and we know that we would love them to have been more elevated. But they built great realities. They built a whole reality that, millions and millions of people got to be in. So when you connect deeper to the fact that you're really making a reality, which is ultimately your kingdom or your queendom, then now you're actually aligned with what the world actually has available to you, so that you can be those top noblemen, noblewomen, top royal status. And just really, it's just a directional shift, that you're the king and the queen, or the king or the queen, or the king and the queen together, or whatever configuration you want, the king and the king and the queen and the queen. But that ultimately you're creating a dynasty. And you and your family and the people in it are the royal princesses and princes and kings and queens. And ultimately, when even one person in the family starts to make a shift in this language and starts to orient towards something much higher and starts to build that into your repertoire, that's really a game changer. And that's why when we train people here at the Empire Company with all of our programs, the Dynasty Maker, the Billionaire Maker, the Millionaire Maker, the King Maker, the Queen Maker, the Pro Maker, right? All these highest, the Mogul Maker, the highest identities, we live in this language. We only use this language. For example, if you're trying to be the president of the company, we're going to call you Mr. President. If you want to build something, we're going to call it the top level of what it can be and beyond that, right? So instead of just a dynasty, it might be an opulent, magical dynasty. It might be a powerful, fabulous dynasty. It might be a cool, amazing dynasty, reality, empire, all of these things. So this is the invitation to start to make the shift into ultimately a much more dynastic reality, recognizing that your whole reality can be a dynasty. You can be the king and the queen. You can have multi-generational wellness and wealth and flow. And when you start to use this language, say you have kids in your family at this point, they're now getting to have that language. They're now getting programmed with higher reality, and therefore that will create the higher material reality in their future. So lots of good stuff on dynasties, but this is it for today. And so I'm inviting you all to make the upgrade, to replace the concept of just having a family or just having a company with having a reality and being the king and queen of your reality, making your amazing kingdom or queendom there in this world, and really referring to it as a dynasty, and really making that upgrade and inviting the people in your world that you're closest to, or your team, to just absolutely make that upgrade. And if you want any help doing that, that's what we do. So you can just click the link and move forward in the process. And we'd love you to subscribe and share this upgrade with people that you know need it. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.